the word, march.
Were it not for the muskets firing, it might seem like a normal afternoon in Calvary Cemetery. But today is Sherman Day, and these soldiers are actually members of the national organization Sons of Union Veterans. The group is dedicated to preserving the history of soldiers who fought to preserve the Union during the Civil War.
Our organization realized that many of our ancestors fought under General Sherman. We called him Uncle Billy. And we have formed a Sons of Union Veterans Camp here called the William T. Sherman Billy Yank Camp 65.
General William Tecumsah Sherman is perhaps best known for a military strategy that contributed to the surrender of the Southern Confederacy. He spent time in St. Louis off and on during his military career and worked for a brief period as president of St. Louis Railway, a streetcar company. After his retirement from the Army, General Sherman and his wife Ellen planned to live out their remaining years in St. Louis at their home on Garrison Avenue. Sherman bought burial plots for his wife and children in Calvary Cemetery. His final request before his death in 1891 was to be buried alongside them.
We found that the grave site was here, and it needed a little bit and everything. We came over and we painted the flagpole and trimmed some bushes, and the cemetery noticed we were doing that, and they're very, very cooperative.
Lieutenant Colonel Jack Rothy has overseen the Sherman Day ceremony for the past 31 years.
Thanks, guys, for coming out again.
His group, the Billy Yank Camp, is one of several hundred community-based divisions of the Sons of Union Veterans, responsible for maintaining grave sites and organizing events like the Sherman Day commemoration.
We have Doug Niemeyer from the Royal...
Actually, I've seen buses of school children coming to see Sherman's grave, so that's why we honor him.
Civil War veterans groups have been in existence since the early 20th century. As the veterans' ranks began to dwindle, their descendants carried on the operations to preserve their stories for future generations. In light of the 2011 sesquicentennial of the Civil War, the role of these groups and reenactors is even more important in raising awareness of Missouri's role in the conflict.
We keep alive the memory of the boys in blue. We are Mr. Lincoln's Army incarnate.
I think the children nowadays need to know, what all these men did for us.
And they tend to appreciate it more when they see it live in front of them rather than seeing in the classroom. It's a lot more live for them and they become more involved with it.
It's just tremendous how much history there is here, and people just don't realize it. They walk right over it.
All right? No? Well, you look marvelous.
Despite the camp's solemn responsibility to honor the history of the Civil War veterans, they still have fun dressing up in uniforms and firing cannons.
Well, the old expression about boys and their toys or hobbies. There's some Confederate reenactors here today. You are on your way to Minnesota to fight the Sioux.
I'm getting ready to be shot. They've already talked about shooting me.
So I couldn't help but noticing that you're slightly outnumbered here today. Is
That's a fact that we've gotten used to. We can't have the enemy without having the good guys.
These Confederate reenactors are not as out of place as they seem. History recalls that Confederate General Joseph Johnston, who led the resistance to Sherman's troops in the South, was actually one of the pallbearers at Sherman's funeral.
He had been a friend of Sherman's before the war and after the war, and that's how respected he was.
That concludes the program.
Sherman famously said, "War is hell." But on Sherman Day, war ends with smiles and photo ops before loading the cannon back into the truck and driving home.
Oh, hang on. Okay, hang on. Here we go.